I'm going to preview the Baylor at UConn men's basketball game, which will be played December 4th at 5:30 p.m. Central Time on FS1. And obviously, Baylor's 5-2 on the year with the win against New Orleans, which was literally Wednesday. So they had they're going to have 6 days to prepare for UConn here, and UConn's 5-3. And to say the least, they already tied the loss total from a year ago. I mean, it's just the truth. And they lost 3 games in 3 days. And the Maui Invitational presented by Nova Vac. So, I mean, the Memphis, Colorado, and Dayton, all those teams not ranked. They have not played a single ranked team at all. They are coming off of a win against Maryland, Eastern Shore. They were without the league scorer, and I'll mention his name when I go over guys to keep an eye on for UConn. Yeah, but Maryland Eastern Shore is no good team at all. Look at their record. I mean, 2-9 now. Yeah, that was their get right game, to say the least. It was 99-45, by the way. So, I'm just going to mention a few other things before I go to UConn players. I'm not sure about VJ Edgecombe going into this game. He had hamstring tightness, and that's why he didn't play in the second half last game. In that situation, when it was a blowout, or was going to be, why play him? And I know Jason Asamoah for Baylor has an ankle issue, but he was going to be lower on the rotation anyway. But man, that would hurt to not have him or VJ or both of those guys to not have them available. But that's just a heads up. Obviously, UConn, they didn't have their best player in terms of points per game, and even their best forward, technically in terms of average points per game as well. He's questionable with a head injury that he suffered in the Maui Invitational, and that's Alex Carabin. He's questionable. Don't be shocked if he plays. Don't be shocked if he isn't. Concussions head injuries are no joke. I mean, he's number 11, 6'8", 225-pound forward as a junior. So I'm just going to go ahead and mention his name right now. But if he doesn't play, he doesn't play. I mean, don't be shocked. Okay, there are 3 other double-digit scores that I'm going to go ahead and mention. It's Solo Ball, number 1. 6'3", 109-pound guard. That's a sophomore. And y'all could check out the stats in the description below to make things faster here. And there's Liam McNeely, number 30, 6'7", 210-pound forward. That's a freshman. And there's Terrace Reed Jr., number 5, 6'10", 260-pound center. That's a junior. That's all their double-digit scores. They do have Hassan Diarra, number 10, 6'2", 195-pound guard. That's a senior, so he's 8 points per game or more. And they do have Samson Johnson, number 35, 6'10", 225-pound forward. Center. That's a senior. And I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all these names here. I'm going ahead and mention a few other names, 3 of them, really, unless you want me to go over one other guy as well, but. Jane Ross is number 23, 6'7", 205-pound forward as a sophomore. Jalen Stewart, number 3, 6'7", 215-pound forward as a sophomore. Yeah. And there's Aiden Mahaney, number 20, and he's a transfer. When you look where he was at, good score over there. Not as much over here, but it's a different situation, obviously. He's coming off the bench now instead of being a starter. 6'3", 185-pound guard. That's a junior. Then there's one more guy. I'm just go ahead and mention it. Ahmad Noel, number 0, 6 foot, 195-pound guard. That is a freshman. Well, I know UConn's going to have something to prove here. I'm telling you guys right now, they don't have a single good quality win on the year. They're not the same team as last year or the year before. That's obvious. I do think UConn will get better as the season progresses, but will it be this game? I hope for Baylor's sake it's not this game. And if you thought Baylor had issues, UConn has issues too. So I know they want to be up there and try to rectify the situation and get a quality win, to say the least. Now, across the board, limit your foul trouble. I mean, as much as possible while getting them in foul trouble. Especially the better ones. Players. You got to keep your composure. Don't get technical fouls. Don't get flagrants. I mean, just telling the truth. You got to make adjustments on the fly, both offensively and defensively, throughout the game. Not just from one half to the next, but throughout. And you don't know how the officiating is going to be. And Jane Nunn said as much. The officiating might be against us. So we got to make plays to win. So I'm glad that he said that. So he knows the officiating might be questionable. Of course it's going to be questionable. It's only human nature after all. You just got to play through it and adjust to it. I mean, if they're going to be physical, try to be a little physical back. Of course, with that fouling. And you got to need to try to take away that home crowd as much as possible in this game. And there's one thing you cannot afford to do. Start like you did against Tennessee, St. John's, and Gonzaga. What do I mean by that? Get down too big, too early. You can't do that. Yeah, I know you won that St. John's game. And you could have beat them in regulation instead of going to double overtime. But let's not put ourselves in that predicament to begin with. Seriously. Whether it's on offense or defense, you got to key in. I mean, stay focused. And you had a lot of time to prepare for this game compared to UConn. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. They just literally played Saturday. A really quick turnaround. 4 games within, let me look for them real fast, but you get the point. I mean, from November 25th to November 30th. And they had to do traveling as well. So yeah, they're not as fresh. Technically not as fresh. I mean, so if Alex Carabin plays, you got to adjust to that. Him playing. And I was just honestly playing on him playing in this game. No matter what, if you're Baylor. And like according to Dan Hurley, like on the AP, like press on the ESPN article from yesterday's game. I mean, from that last game. And yeah, I'm pre-recording this ahead of time just to get this out of the way. And once the AP poll comes out, I'll just release it right then. It was a mild concussion. Everyone should treat it as we should, with a lot of caution. He was able to travel back with us. All of his tests were really clean and he's feeling a lot better. So, I'm just saying, don't be shocked if he plays or don't be shocked if he doesn't. Of course, he's going to do gamesmanship prior to this game, I'm sure. He's not going to say, yeah, he's going to definitely play. Yeah, he's definitely not. I wouldn't expect that. I wouldn't. Now, defensively, you got to start faster than those 3 games that I mentioned in St. John's Tennessee, and Gonzaga. You got to do better. Contain the shooters, contain the slashers, and if you know on shooters, make sure if they're gonna, on those 3-point shooters, make them pull up for long twos instead. I mean, that's the thing. And whether it's man-to-man or zone, press, obviously draw offensive fouls would be huge, but you can't rely on officiating. I know getting steals would help. Create some turnovers. Limit the points out turnovers. Limit the points out in transition. Limit the points in the paint as much as you can. You gotta hit the glass and rebound. I mean, get some defensive rebounds and limit their offensive boards and the second chance points. So that's simple. And now, offensively, of course, you want to get some points off turnovers, and you got to shoot the ball better from the get-go. Compared to those 3 games, and I know you want a St. John's game, like I said, but that's just telling the truth. You can't do that. Of course, you don't have live ball turnovers that leads to points on turnovers. So you need to get some points on turnovers yourself. Limit the turnovers as much as you can. Good shot selection, good passing, good screens, and don't have illegal screens or offensive fouls as much as possible here. Get some offensive rebounds and get some second chance points where it's a kick out for a 3 or a straight or for a mid-range jump shot or up close like a put-back layup or dunk. I mean, I'm just saying. And you got to do a good job on side out of bounds, both offensively and defensively. I mean, you got to make your free throws count. And one thing on defense, you do not want to let UConn live at the free throw line as much as possible. I mean, it's just telling the truth because you don't want to give 3 points at the line, especially if you're up in the last minute of the game, and you don't want them to score without time running off the clock. In those situations as well, you gotta be smart. I mean, on don't give up threes. I mean, make things entirely difficult for UConn as much as possible offensively. Now, defensively, you gotta make them uncomfortable too. I mean, and I'm just gonna name out some guys. If VJ Edgecombe does play, he needs to have a good game, whether it's on offense. I would prefer both offense and defense, and maybe he's not the best 3-point shooter right now, but if he could get to the rim and then kick it out to a shooter, that's fine by me. Maybe his 3-point shot would go down eventually, or a mid-range shot, or get some assists as well. Jeremy Roach needs to step up, and he's used to these type of games. Same thing goes for No Chad on Mir. I mean, they were both in Final Fours after all. Jay Nunn needs to step up. Langston Love needs to step up. I'm going to go say Robert Wright needs to step up. Joshua Druwona just needs to do his role. And one more guy is James Celestine. He needs to do his role. Whether it's on offense or defense. And let's go out there. Play hard. Don't be intimidated by the other team. And let's go out there and show them who's really boss. And this is a winnable game. And yeah, I know it's on the road. And that makes things more difficult. But they're not the same team as we all thought they would be back in the preseason. They're not. But at the same time, I know UConn and their fans are going to say, oh, this is a winnable game for us to get a quality win because Baylor's not done good in those type of games. Technically, that is true. I mean, they lost to Gonzaga. They lost to Tennessee. But both of those losses are to top 5 teams. I mean, to really good teams that are playing really good ball right now. In comparison to UConn, I'm not saying UConn's not playing good ball. They have a winning record. I get it. But those 2 teams are better than UConn. So you're battle tested, and you even played Arkansas, and I know Arkansas might not be ranked. And the same thing goes for St. John's. But you've been battle tested more than UConn has. And Obviously, you want to limit the scoring runs for UConn as much as possible. And you got to get some scoring runs yourselves to extend the lead and protect the lead if not extend it. And regardless of what happens here, it's a good test for both of these teams to see where they're at before their respective conferences. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Course ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my money off this course. Like a video, comment video really helps YouTube background. So more people see it, and it like more people can see it. Of course, sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.